Chapter 41. This battle is a sure win. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the entire Haotian sect, except for Chu Xinghe, the first person in Kaoshan village who has the potential to be an emperor, almost everyone is celebrating the victory of the Haotian sect. The reason why I use almost is that in addition to Emperor Chu Xinghe, people from Tianyao Palace are also here. Luo Ying'er's heart is broken. How is it possible? How could my senior brother Xinghe lose to that guy Chu Xinghe? Why? Can he win? My senior brother Xinghe is a man with a magnificent beauty, and he should be the most invincible existence in the world, but now he has lost to Chu Xinghe, a bastard. This bastard must have used some despicable, shameless and dirty tricks to be lucky enough to win over the kind, generous, righteous and heroic senior brother Xinghe. Luo Ying'er even did not attend the Haotian sect's dinner because of her physical discomfort, and ran to the Dan room prepared by Haotian sect for Tianyao Palace alone to practice hard. Luo Ying'er swore that she must defeat that bastard Chu Xinghe. Senior brother Xinghe's magnificent beauty will be protected by me, Luo Ying'er, however. Luo Ying'er felt that Haotian sect was not completely devoid of good people, such as senior sister Wan Lin. Although senior sister Wan Lin was drunk, she still remembered to visit her. Even in her drunken state, she also helped her hard work in alchemy to give her a full-body relaxation massage. The technique still makes me feel numb all over when I think about it now. Senior sister Wan Lin is really a peerless good sister. Fortunately, Chu Xinghe was drunk and didn't know about this, otherwise he would definitely point at Wan Lin and shout, "Let her go, she's still a child." After a night of revelry, the next morning, Haotian sect was as usual. After breakfast, Chu Xinghe came to the Medicine King Palace. Today, the Medicine King Palace not only has disciples from the Lingyi Palace, but also many people from other palaces who came to watch the fun. Wudi City was defeated, but Tianyao Palace has not left yet. Although Tianyao Palace cannot compare with Wudi City in terms of strength and status, but from the perspective of the alchemy world, the Tianyao Palace is also of great importance, and has challenged the Lingyi Palace many times in recent years. The Great Elder led the Lord of the Tianyao Palace, Wu Kun, to sit in the Yawang Palace. Although Wu Kun was the Lord of the Tianyao Palace, his status was not enough for a person like Gu Mingqiao to receive him personally. It was already a great honor to have the Great Elder with him. Chu Xinghe also came to the Yawang Palace after breakfast. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Luo Ying'er, who was as angry as a squirrel, staring at him. Next to her, junior sister Wan Lin seemed to be comforting her, but why did junior sister Wan Lin put her hands randomly when comforting others? Junior sister Wan Lin, can you pay a little more attention? You don't avoid people now, right? Xinghe greets the Great Elder and meets Palace Master Wu Kun. Chu Xinghe walked up to the Great Elder and Wu Kun and saluted. The Great Elder looked at Chu Xinghe with satisfaction, and Wu Kun couldn't help but sigh that heroes come from young people. After yesterday's battle, Chu Xinghe was famous all over the world. The saying that he was the best of the young generation had spread outside. Moreover, Chu Xinghe was not only strong, but also a genius in alchemy. He possessed the vermilion bird spiritual fire and inherited the medicine saint's legacy. His future in alchemy was limitless. It was a pity that such a person was not a disciple of the Tianyao Palace. Wu Kun exchanged pleasantries with the Great Elder, and the competition between Haotian sect and Tianyao Palace also kicked off. Wu Kun introduced his disciple Luo Ying'er. Chu Xinghe also asked the Great Elder to learn about this gifted Luo Ying'er. Although this little girl is not very old, she is quite famous in the alchemy world, even more dazzling than Chu Xinghe. However, no matter how strong Luo Ying'er is today, he will lose. When Chu Xinghe woke up this morning, the first thing he did was to do a deep self-examination. Why did he pretend to be so cool when he played against Xinghe yesterday? He had to show his level and bottom line. Lose brilliantly. What level do you have? What bottom line do you want? What excitement do you want? So after a deep self-examination, Chu Xinghe swore that this time he would never make the same low-level mistakes as when facing Xinghe, and would never give his opponent any chance to lose. Comparing medicine refining, right? As a former furnace-blowing expert, what is a more reliable way to lose than furnace blowing? No matter how good this girl is, as long as she doesn't blow up the furnace today, don't even think about getting a defeat in my Haotian sect. No. Even if she blows up the furnace, there is absolutely no possibility of losing, because even if she blows up the furnace, I will definitely blow it up more thoroughly and more simply than her. I will lose this battle completely, and even if God comes, don't think of stopping me from blowing up the furnace. As the saying goes, hold on to the green mountains and don't let go, and don't stop until you blow up the furnace. Although I don't know why Luo Yinger, who is as angry as a little squirrel on the opposite side, is angry, don't worry, even if you are angry like a pufferfish, don't even think about taking a defeat from me, Chu Xinghe. Soon, the great elder announced the content of this medicine refining competition, the 5th grade elixir, the feathering pill. This is a very rare elixir. Taking this elixir does not make you fly to heaven on the spot, but it can make you grow a pair of wings in a short period of time, so that you can fly slightly off the ground for a period of time. However, because the elixir lasts for a short time and cannot fly too high or too fast, no one will refine this elixir under normal circumstances. Moreover, the refining method of the feathering pill is extremely complicated and it is difficult for ordinary 5th grade alchemists to refine it, so it is even more unpopular. It should be Wu Kun who suggested choosing Yuhua Dan this time. Otherwise, with the actions of the great elder who has been behind the scenes for many years, there is no reason not to tell me in advance. However, Yuhua Dan is also good. Although there are countless ways to perfectly refine Yuhua Dan in the inheritance of the medicine saint, Chu Xinghe has never refined it once in actual operation. It is reasonable that the furnace exploded when I refined Yuhua Dan for the first time, right? Soon, the refining materials of Yuhua Dan were prepared, and the quality of the materials of the 2 pills was almost the same. As a guest, the little squirrel Luo Yinger naturally made the first choice, then the remaining one was handed over to Chu Xinghe, but before the little squirrel could make a move, Chu Xinghe spoke up, "Junior sister Luo Yinger, simply refining the Yuhua pill is too boring. Why don't we add something else?" "Add what?" "In addition to these specific herbs, we each choose a herb for the other party, and this herb must also be added during the refining process, and then we decide the winner in the end. How about that?" As soon as Chu Xinghe said this, there was an uproar around him, and even the great elder couldn't help but frown. The various herbs for the pills were summarized after hundreds or thousands of years of research. Whether one more or one less will cause unimaginable changes in the original pill refining, so Chu Xinghe's proposal for this additional content in the competition is really confusing. Okay. Luo Yinger nodded and agreed without thinking too much. Without any extra nonsense, Luo Yinger's hand flashed with blue light, and a piece of aquamarine appeared out of thin air. Luo Yinger put the aquamarine among Chu Xinghe's herbs. This was the herb she chose for Chu Xinghe. When seeing this aquamarine, the faces of those who know how to make medicine changed drastically. Yuhua Dan is a fire-type elixir, and this aquamarine is a water-type medicinal material. Fire and water are incompatible, and it is not just a saying. Yuhua Dan will explode on the spot when aquamarine is added. Chu Xinghe looked at the aquamarine in front of him and tears came down. Junior sister Luo Yinger is really considerate. The reason why I put forward this statement is actually to give a more perfect excuse for the explosion furnace. Now with the addition of aquamarine, no matter how I explode, I will be as stable as an old dog. Since junior sister Luo Yinger is so kind, I can't let junior sister Luo Yinger be unhappy. Soon Chu Xinghe also chose a medicinal material for Luo Yinger. Plan to go. Is junior brother Xinghe crazy? That when seeing the medicinal materials Chu Xinghe chose for Luo Yinger, everyone around was stunned. Plantain itself is also a water-based medicinal material, and its medicinal properties are mild. It will hardly have any side effects when added to any elixir. Luo Yinger chose aquamarine for junior brother Xinghe, but junior brother Xinghe chose plantain for Luo Yinger. What is junior brother Xinghe doing? How can the Yuhua pill be refined after adding aquamarine? Junior brother Xinghe is kind and righteous. He should think that Luo Yinger is just a little girl and think it's not good to bully her too much, so he deliberately uses this method to increase the difficulty for himself. This is what junior brother Xinghe did. He was afraid that the outside world would say that my Haotian sect bullied Tianyao Palace, so he used this method to stop people from talking. But this girl is too much. She actually chose aquamarine. Junior brother Xinghe chose plantain for her, which had almost no effect, but she chose aquamarine for junior brother Xinghe, which had conflicting medicinal properties. How can there be such a big difference in their behavior? That a group of senior brothers from Lingyi Palace were talking about it. Not only them, Luo Ying'er was also a little stunned when she saw the medicinal materials that Chu Xinghe chose for her. When Chu Xinghe made this request, her first reaction was that the galaxy dog thief must have a conspiracy. So she chose the most difficult aquamarine for the galaxy dog thief without hesitation, but she never expected that the galaxy dog thief would choose plantain for her. As a genius alchemist, how could Luo Ying'er not know how big the difference between plantain and aquamarine is? At this moment, Luo Ying'er's heart suddenly wavered, but soon Luo Ying'er remembered the beauty of senior brother Zhenyu, and her wavering heart became firm again. This galaxy dog thief must have a conspiracy. He must be afraid of losing to himself, so he used this seemingly difficult way to make excuses in advance. It must be like this. With a firm mind and no distractions, Luo Ying'er began to provoke the earth fire without saying a word. As the earth fire rose, blood-red flames drilled out from the ground, and the flames gathered in the air into the shape of a unicorn beast. Qilin True Fire. This girl actually possesses Qilin True Fire. This is Qilin True Fire that is similar to Suzaku's Spirit Fire. This Luo Ying'er is actually the inheritor of Qilin True Fire. Looking at the rising Qilin True Fire, the entire Medicine King Palace was shaken. For a moment, Feng Fei and others looked at Chu Xinghe with a little more worry. Among all kinds of fire, Qilin True Fire is not inferior to Suzaku's Spirit Fire. If the Qilin True Fire is in a normal duel with Suzaku's Spirit Fire, but junior brother Xinghe has the inheritance of Medicine Saint, it should be stable. However, the sudden addition of aquamarine completely broke all of Chu Xinghe's advantages. Junior brother Xinghe will have a hard time in this battle. The Great Elder also frowned, and even he was a little worried at this time, but when Chu Xinghe saw the Qilin True Fire, he was so excited that he almost jumped up. Although I heard from the Great Elder that Luo Ying'er might have controlled the Qilin True Fire before, it was just a rumor after all. Now that it has been confirmed, Chu Xinghe is so excited. I'm doomed to lose. This battle. It's a sure win. Chapter 42 The Birth of the Magic Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Haotian Sect is arrogant, and the Vermilion Bird Spiritual Fire is defeated by the Qilin True Fire. Chu Xinghe has even thought of the topic of the outside world after his failure. Although this topic is not as explosive as losing to Wudi City, Haotian Sect just won Wudi City, and then lost to Tianyao Palace because of Chu Xinghe's arrogance. At that time, the topic will definitely not be low. Because he lost this battle because of his arrogance, he also lost the face of Haotian Sect. He asked the elder if he could not punish himself. Would the sect master not be furious? Would his status as a direct disciple be preserved at that time? Would the reputation of Haotian Sect not be hit? It was simply killing two birds with one stone. With an extremely happy mood, Chu Xinghe began to refine the Yuhua pill. All the materials were put into the pill furnace in an orderly manner. Under the blessing of the Vermilion Bird Spiritual Fire, all the refining went very smoothly, but he was not worried about the furnace explosion at all. The Vermilion Bird Spiritual Fire is already violent, and coupled with the Vermilion Bird Furnace's irritability, when the aquamarine is thrown in later, I don't have to act myself, this furnace will explode steadily. On the other side, Luo Ying'er's refining is not slower than Chu Xinghe's. Under the blessing of the Qilin True Fire, although Luo Ying'er's furnace is not as good as the Vermilion Bird Furnace, it is definitely not an ordinary product. Various medicinal materials are put into the furnace one by one, and the refining of the feather pill is progressing smoothly. Soon, Luo Ying'er picked up the plantain prepared by Chu Xinghe. She looked at it again and again for a long time, and after confirming that there was no problem with the plantain, she put the plantain into the furnace. And her refining finally reached the last moment. Waves of medicinal fragrance began to drift out of the furnace, and along with the drifting medicinal fragrance, streams of purple smoke actually drifted out of the furnace. Top-grade purple smoke. This is a sign of top-grade elixir. It is worthy of being the Kirin true fire. Even with the addition of plantain, can it still refine top-grade elixir? This Luo Ying'er's alchemy skills are so terrifying. I'm afraid that junior brother Xinghe will miscalculate this time. In the Medicine King Palace, everyone looked at the purple smoke coming out of Luo Ying'er's furnace, and their faces became solemn. Wu Kun's face was full of smiles at this moment, while the elder opposite him looked at Chu Xinghe with a worried look. At this time, even he couldn't figure out what Chu Xinghe was doing. It's okay to suddenly propose additional rules. If the other party chooses aquamarine for you, won't you also choose aquamarine for her? What do you mean by giving her plantain? Is Xinghe a child who is inflated because of yesterday's victory? Buzz. Luo Ying'er's alchemy furnace shook for a while, and the next moment the alchemy furnace opened, and a purple light shot up from the alchemy furnace. Luo Ying'er flew up and grabbed a purple pill flying in the air. In an instant, purple light scattered on the purple pill, and along with the purple light, waves of medicinal fragrance spread throughout the alchemy room. Top-grade feathering pill. It's really a top-grade pill. Luo Ying'er was also excited when she grabbed the top-grade feathering pill. She quickly ran to her master Wu Kun and sent the pill to Wu Kun. Wu Kun nodded slightly after reading it, and signaled Luo Ying'er to send it to the elder. Luo Ying'er took the pill to the elder again and asked him to taste it. There was no need to look at it more. Just one glance, the elder knew that Luo Ying'er's top-grade feathering pill was absolutely flawless. Seeing the elder nod, Luo Ying'er showed a bright smile on her face. At the same time, her eyes also looked at Chu Xinghe, who was still refining it over there. Xinghe dog thief. Don't be so stubborn. Die. On Chu Xinghe's side, the refining of the Yuhua pill was still in progress, but compared with Luo Ying'er's refining just now, Chu Xinghe's Suzaku furnace did not have much medicinal fragrance at all, and this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that the aquamarine had not been put in yet. Just when everyone was worried about how Chu Xinghe would deal with the aquamarine, Chu Xinghe finally reached the last moment of refining. At this moment, Chu Xinghe picked up the aquamarine and threw it into the pill furnace without hesitation. The moment the aquamarine of the water system entered the Suzaku furnace, the entire Suzaku furnace began to shake wildly. It's going to explode. Everyone back off. The Suzaku furnace shook wildly. Sure enough, the addition of aquamarine completely ruined the refining of the Yuhua pill. This was the result of the explosion. When the elder saw the madly shaking Suzaku furnace, his first reaction was to take action, but when he saw Chu Xinghe's expression, he stopped, because at this moment he found that Chu Xinghe's face did not show any panic because of the furnace explosion. On the contrary, Chu Xinghe's face always had a smile on it. Seeing this smile, the elder was shocked. Could it be that this kid had a backup plan? Wait a little longer. But just as the elder was waiting, Chu Xinghe suddenly urged his spiritual power, and the Suzaku's spiritual fire gushed out instantly. Under the blessing of the terrifying Suzaku's spiritual fire, the Suzaku furnace, which was already shaking wildly, seemed to be unable to bear the pressure brought by the Suzaku's spiritual fire. Boom! A terrifying explosion sound spread throughout the Medicine King Palace. The huge explosion sounded along with the terrifying flames that filled the entire Suzaku furnace. Just when everyone was panicking to avoid the Suzaku's spiritual fire that might be about to burst out of the Suzaku furnace, a strange scene appeared. All the exploding Suzaku's spiritual fires did not leave the Suzaku furnace too far, but all revolved around the Suzaku furnace wildly, and in the rotation of the Suzaku's spiritual fire, the Suzaku furnace suddenly flew into the air. A ball of water light emerged from the Suzaku furnace. The water light was inexplicably entangled with the Suzaku's spiritual fire. At this moment, water and fire became so harmonious. Water and fire blend. This is the fusion of water and fire. Wu Kun was the first to shout, and along with his shout, the elder also widened his eyes excitedly. It is said that there is a special method in the medicine refining industry that can make various originally conflicting medicinal materials no longer conflict under this method, and even use the power of conflict to improve the quality of the pill, and this method is also called the fusion of water and fire, but this method has always existed in legends. Even the medicine Saint Lu Changfeng was not able to fully control this method at that time, but there were some attempts and inferences about this method. But today, the picture of the perfect fusion of water and fire outside the Suzaku furnace is not the legendary method of the fusion of water and fire in the legend. Buzz! The Suzaku furnace shook wildly, but this time it was not an explosion, but an opening. A golden light broke through the Suzaku furnace and flew out of the Suzaku furnace. It was a pill, a golden pill. When the pill soared into the sky, countless dark clouds suddenly appeared over the sky of Haotian Sect, which was originally clear. Thunder also began to flicker in the dark clouds. God grade. It's a God grade pill. The birth of a God grade pill brings disaster. Wu Kun's eyes were red. As a 9th grade peak alchemy master, he had been refining pills for his entire life, but he had never refined a God grade pill. Even the great elder had only refined it once in his life, and refining a God-grade pill can be said to be something that any alchemist desires in his lifetime. Boom! A thunderbolt fell from the sky, and the thunderbolt directly blasted open the roof of the Medicine King Palace, and met with the golden God-grade pill that soared into the sky. The golden light merged with the thunderbolt, and the thunderbolt wanted to tear the pill into pieces, but the pill seemed to have magical power. Under this thunderbolt, the pill was not destroyed, but instead bloomed with a more dazzling golden light. Boom! Thunder shattered, and the divine elixir was made. The golden elixir fell from the sky, and the fragrance of the medicine instantly filled the entire Medicine King Palace. It was the same medicinal fragrance, but when this medicinal fragrance filled the air, everyone felt refreshed. Divine elixir. This is a real divine elixir, and it is definitely not comparable to any top-grade elixir. No one would have thought that today, Chu Xinghe, a 5th-grade alchemist, would actually refine the legendary divine elixir in full view of the public. Wu Kun was stunned. The elder was so excited that his beard was about to fly. Countless brothers and sisters of the Haotian sect were excited. Luo Ying'er was even more unbelievable. Only Chu Xinghe looked confused at this moment. What the hell is this? How did this divine elixir come from? I just want to blow up the furnace. How can a divine elixir be blown out of the furnace? Suzaku furnace, you are playing me, right? At this time, Chu Xinghe's confusion turned into calmness in everyone's eyes, a kind of indifference that transcends the world. Everyone looked at Chu Xinghe standing in front of the vermilion bird furnace. Look, this is our junior brother Xinghe. Even the divine elixir can't make him fluctuate at all. Junior brother Xinghe has already predicted everything. No wonder junior brother Xinghe is not afraid of the aquamarine. It turns out that junior brother Xinghe has mastered the super alchemy technique of blending water and fire. This must be what junior brother Xinghe has learned from the inheritance of the medicine saint. This is something that even the medicine saint couldn't do back then. Senior brother Xinghe is really better than his master. Luo Ying'er also stared at Chu Xinghe over there with her eyes wide open. I don't know why. At this moment, Chu Xinghe's figure became so tall and majestic in her eyes. As an alchemist, no one doesn't want to refine a divine elixir. Luo Ying'er dreams of it, but she knows that she is still far away. Chu Xinghe, who was in front of him, had refined a divine elixir with his own hands, but he was still so calm and composed. He was even about to cheer when the furnace exploded just now, but Chu Xinghe stood there without any fear, as if he had known in advance what would happen. That's right, he must have mastered the mysterious method of blending water and fire in the legend. Chu Xinghe is simply unfathomable. Luo Ying'er felt for the first time that she was so insignificant. Chu Xinghe in front of her was so overwhelming that she couldn't breathe. At the same time, looking at Chu Xinghe who was standing in the Suzaku spirit fire and watching the divine elixir come out calmly, Luo Ying'er didn't know why. At this moment she found that senior brother Xinghe was so tall and majestic. It turned out that senior brother Xinghe looked so handsome. He was no less beautiful than senior brother Xingyu. Chapter 43 Good Fortune is Coming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The magic elixir is born, and a catastrophe comes from the sky. The sudden appearance of Lei Yun shocked the entire Haotian sect. even the sect leader Gu Mingqiao came through the void from Haotian Palace, seeing the collision of thunder and golden elixir in the sky, even he felt a little moved in his heart. Today is the medicine refining competition between the Haotian sect and the Tianyao Palace. Gu Mingqiao knows nothing about medicine refining, and the owner of the Tianyao Palace is not willing to let him, the leader of the Haotian sect, accompany him personally, so he did not come today, but I never expected that the magic elixir would be born today and even attract thunder from the sky. Among the Haotian sect, only the great elder made the elixir that reached the level of the divine when he broke through to the peak of the 9th grade. It caused thunder in the sky and shook all directions. Today is the competition between Chu Xinghe and Luo Ying'er. Chu Xinghe seems to be a 5th grade alchemist, and so is Luo Ying'er. 2 5th grade alchemists have refined a divine elixir. Gu Mingqiao took a few steps to reach the Yaowang Palace. Through the blasted roof of the Yaowang Palace, he saw the divine elixir suspended in mid-air and countless excited Haotian sect disciples jumping up and down. When seeing this scene, Gu Mingqiao smiled. It's the kid Xinghe. It is indeed the inheritance of the medicine saint. Yesterday, one person defeated the entire young generation of Emperor Wu City, and today the elixir inherited from the medicine saint was born. This child will always bring incredible surprises to people. Not only did they visit the Ming dynasty, but the elders from all the palaces also came from all directions when the thunder appeared. When they saw the golden elixir and the cheering Haotian sect disciples, everyone realized what had happened. God bless Haotian. Countless elders sang loudly. Gu Mingqiao stood in the sky with his hands behind his back. At this moment, his heart was extremely happy. God bless Haotian. There is nothing wrong with this at all. 400 years have passed, and the Haotian sect has had countless geniuses, but there has never been a super being like the 10th generation Haotian emperor who is unparalleled in the world. Even though he, Gu Mingqiao, is called the best in the world, there are many hidden masters in the world, as well as some old monsters who have never been born. Gu Mingqiao knows that he is not necessarily invincible in the world, but today, the Haotian sect finally produced a figure who can rival the 10th generation Haotian emperor. Wrong. To be precise, Chu Xinghe has surpassed Emperor Haotian back then. At this age, Emperor Haotian is definitely not as accomplished as Chu Xinghe. Gu Mingqiao knew that it was really God who blessed Haotian, and Haotian's sect was finally going to give birth to a truly invincible being. The thunder clouds dispersed, and there was a huge hole in the newly built Yaowang Palace. But when everyone looked at the hole, they didn't feel sad, but excited, because this hole is a witness to the birth of the divine elixir, and also a witness to the rise of junior brother Xinghe. The great elder rose into the sky and picked the magic elixir from the sky. The divine elixir exuded a dazzling golden light. The great elder held the golden elixir in both hands and walked around it as if he was holding the most powerful treasure, allowing everyone to taste the divine elixir. Everyone's eyes lit up when they saw the magic pill. This is the legendary magic pill. Finally, the great elder delivered the magic pill to Wu Kun. I would also like to ask Palace Master Wu Kun to comment. Wu Kun looked at Shindan, his face full of bitterness. The great elder is joking. Wu Kun has not been able to refine the magic elixir in his life, so what qualifications do he have to taste the magic elixir? After today's battle, I, the Tianyao Palace, took it heartily. The Tianyao Palace does not know what it can do. Today, I took it for myself. It's humiliating. When Wu Kun said this, the elder suppressed the laughter in his heart and kept saying, how could it be possible? It would be good for everyone to communicate with each other. It's really good. Without communication, the kid Xinghe wouldn't be able to break through himself and refine the magic elixir. Wu Kun was extremely bitter in his heart, but Chu Xinghe was just as bitter as Wu Kun. Why did you get the magical elixir? Where is the promised furnace? I just want to fry the furnace. I have thrown the aquamarine in. Isn't it natural to fry the furnace? What do you mean by giving me the magic pill? Suzaku Lu, are you taking revenge on me? Didn't I just bully you at the beginning? As for that, Chu Xinghe still looked confused. Senior brother Xinghe, Luo Ying'er is convinced today. Senior brother Xinghe's method of refining medicine is enough for Luo Ying'er to learn for a lifetime. After mastering the Qilin True Fire, I thought I could be on par with senior brother Xinghe. Only today did I realize that the gap between me and senior brother Xinghe is as big as Yunni. Not only the way of refining medicine, but also the difference in character is the difference between heaven and earth. Luo Ying'er was about to cry as she spoke. Senior brother Xinghe put forward additional conditions. I actually thought that senior brother Xinghe had a trick. Senior brother Xinghe chose herbs like plantain for me, but I chose aquamarine for senior brother Xinghe with evil intentions. But senior brother Xinghe has extraordinary abilities. Luo Ying, I admire you so much. What Luo Ying'er said was like pear blossoms and rain, which made many senior fellow apprentices feel distressed, but Chu Xinghe didn't feel sorry for this little squirrel at all. You have an unshirkable responsibility for today's situation. If you hadn't chosen the aquamarine stone, would I have been able to refine the magic elixir? Can I win? I, the little prince of furnace frying, just want to blow up a furnace, but why is it so difficult? But now Chu Xinghe has no solution at all. The magic pill has come out, what else can he do? I can only comfort the little squirrel in front of me. Tianyao Palace, like Emperor Wu City, suffered a complete defeat in this battle. Wu Kun did not continue to stay in Haotian Sect, but left with the little squirrel. However, the little squirrel kept looking back before leaving, and looked at Chu Xinghe with admiration and asked senior brother Xinghe if he could come to senior brother Xinghe for advice in the future. Chu Xinghe smiled and said, "Welcome." In fact, in his heart, "Go away, it's better not to come in this life, and it's better that all squirrels don't appear in Haotian Sect." Chu Xinghe felt better when he saw junior sister Wan Lin sending the little squirrel to the gate with tears in her eyes. "Come on, little squirrel, you don't know that it's not only the senior brothers who are scary in Haotian Sect, but the senior sisters are even scarier." The hole in the Medicine King Palace that was blasted by the thunder was ordered by the elder, and no one is allowed to repair it. This is a sign of the rise of the Medicine King Palace, and it is a symbol of Chu Xinghe's glory. So Feng Fei waved his hand and used the top-grade spirit stone as glass and directly pasted it on it. It is not only rainproof, but also can emit light, so that every disciple who enters the Medicine King Palace in the future can see the former glory of junior brother Xinghe. The Tianyao Palace was arrogant, and the Qilin True Fire was defeated by the Suzaku Spirit Fire. The news of the birth of the magic pill could not be concealed. After the news came out, the topic was similar to what Chu Xinghe had guessed, except that the roles were reversed. The Haotian Sect had just destroyed the prestige of Wudi City, and then destroyed the Tianyao Palace. What was even more terrifying was that the person who did all this was the same person. Yesterday, everyone said that Chu Xinghe might be the strongest person of the younger generation. Today, everyone found out that Chu Xinghe was still the strongest person of the younger generation in terms of not only strength, but also in the way of refining medicine. I don't know how many masters of the major sects stamped their feet and beat their chests. Why must such an excellent disciple go to the Haotian Sect? Our sect is also very good. It's okay for a person to be strong, and the art of refining medicine is so outstanding. Why is the gap between people so big? On this day, I don't know how many young disciples were given the task of increasing the amount of training by the sect, and I don't know how many people were miserable. But Lingyi Palace was decorated with lights and colors, and there was no prohibition of alcohol in Lingyi Palace tonight. The banquet did not involve the entire Haotian Sect, but it filled Lingyi Palace. Even the sect master came to ask for a glass of wine, and told Chu Xinghe not to be arrogant because of today's achievements, and to remain humble and move forward. Chu Xinghe smiled bitterly at this. I am still arrogant. I want to die now. Lingyi Palace held a big banquet, and people from various palaces came to congratulate. At the banquet, everyone was talking about Chu Xinghe's performance today. You don't know. When I saw junior brother Xinghe get the aquamarine, I thought junior brother Xinghe was finished. Now I think that junior brother Xinghe proposed such additional conditions because he was really kind and righteous. That's right. Junior brother Xinghe didn't want to bully that little girl. She didn't know how high the sky was and how deep the earth was just because she had the Qilin True Fire. Junior brother Xinghe can still easily crush her even if he gets the aquamarine. Junior brother Xinghe doesn't like to bully people. He is very kind and righteous. He can easily defeat her, but he is afraid that the outside world will say that our Haotian sect bullies her. I betrayed you, and that additional condition, but even so what? Who can fight against such absolute strength? Didn't you see that little girl's eyes were shining when she looked at junior brother Xinghe when she left the sect? She doesn't deserve junior brother Xinghe. Yes, yes, yes. Junior brother Xinghe is such a person, how could she be worthy of him? Come on. Let's raise a glass to junior brother Xinghe. Chu Xinghe didn't get drunk today, because he heard from several senior brothers that he was scared to death when he shouted that he only wanted to fail after getting drunk. Fortunately, the content of the senior brother's imagination helped him to resolve everything perfectly, and fortunately, he didn't say anything more excessive, but I really drink less wine in the future. Otherwise what will I do if I get drunk and shout that I only want to destroy my sect one day? It's not that I look down on these senior brothers and junior brothers, it's not easy to imagine. The dinner at Lingyi Palace lasted until the second half of the night. Although Chu Xinghe didn't drink too much, he pretended to be drunk. With infinite discomfort, he went back to the room with senior brother Feng Fei to rest. Lying on the bed, Chu Xinghe was sure that senior brother Feng Fei was sleeping like a dead dog, and tears came down. First defeated Wudi City, then killed Tianyao Palace. What the hell did he do? What about the failure? But think about it carefully, can you blame yourself? It's really that the opponent is too weak. Jingyu, you are the same, can't you just fight well? What kind of star-shifting technique? Move yourself away. Little Squirrel is the same, why don't you choose something else? Choose aquamarine, you are just trying to cheat, do you know? With infinite resentment, Chu Xinghe finally fell asleep. After a dreamless night, Chu Xinghe was woken up by senior brother Feng early the next morning. After breakfast, a senior brother sent a message. It was said that the great elder wanted to give him more training. Chu Xinghe's brain twitched when he heard the news. See, the bad news finally came. When the magic pill came out, the elder was like a chicken blood. In the past, if he couldn't refine the best, he would fail. In the future, the elder will not set himself the ultimate goal of failing if he can't refine the magic pill. What a bullshit medicine. I'm so annoyed, but no matter how annoyed I am, I have to go. But when I arrived at the Medicine King Palace, I found that the elder was not waiting for me in the Medicine King Palace. After asking, I found out that the elder went to Haotian Palace. It seems that a branch president of the Haotian Chamber of Commerce named Chu Xinghe reported something very important. The heads of each palace and the elders were summoned to the Haotian Palace by the sect master. Hearing Chu Xinghe, Chu Xinghe's eyes lit up. Lucky General Chu Xinghe, the only lucky general who doesn't cheat himself, is definitely not comparable to the fake lucky general like Ma Liang. What news did Chu Xinghe bring this time that made the sect master summon the great elders and the chief to discuss together? Could it be that something happened to the sect? Chu Xinghe suddenly became excited. Chapter 44, Spiritual Mind Exhaustion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Haotian Palace. In Haotian Hall, the sect leader Gu Mingchao, the great elders and the heads of various palaces gathered here. Chu Xinghe's lucky general Chu Xinghe came to Haotian sect this time and brought some bad news. Haotian sect's #1 spiritual mine has exhausted its resources and has not produced another spiritual stone for more than half a month. Spirit mine #1 is a top-quality mineral vein obtained by the Haotian sect hundreds of years ago. The rise of Haotian sect can be said to be indispensable to the #1 spirit mine. Even today, the spiritual stones produced by the #1 spiritual mine account for about 10% of the Haotian sect's total spiritual stone production. Now that the #1 spiritual mine has been exhausted, this is indeed very bad news, and Gu Mingchao summoned the first of each palace, and his purpose was also very simple: to discuss how to choose a new spiritual mine next. After all, the spiritual mine is an extremely important spiritual stone output for any sect. The Haotian sect has a big business and consumes a lot of money, so the most important thing now is how to find a vein that can replace the #1 spiritual mine. Qin Xiangqian, does the Chamber of Commerce have any clues? That the Great Elder spoke slowly. Qin Xiangqian said respectfully, back to the Great Elder, the number one spirit mine can be said to be the best among the best mineral veins. There are very few in the world that can compare with the number one spirit mine. Now if you want to find one in a short time, you can. It is very difficult to replace the vein of number one spiritual mine. Many elders nodded. Qin Xiangqian was right, spirit mine number one is the best mineral vein, and it is indeed not easy to replace it. This time the spiritual mines are exhausted. Finding replacement spiritual mines is the top priority. I wonder which of the elders is willing to personally go to the Spirit Vein Mountain to select a new spiritual mine. Gu Mingqiao stood in the center of the hall and spoke, but after the sect master finished speaking, all the elders, including the Great Elder, fell silent. It's not that the elders are unwilling to contribute to the sect, the main thing is that the selection of spiritual minerals is no small matter. The cost of purchasing a new spiritual mine is astronomical. And if you want to buy a spiritual mine that can be compared with the number one spiritual mine, it will be even more difficult, in this case. If you make the wrong choice, it will definitely bring unimaginable losses to the sect, so even the Great Elder does not dare to speak casually about such a big matter. Qin Xiangqian looked at the silent elders. He opened his mouth but stopped talking. Qin Xiangqian, you rest in the sect first, and the sect will discuss this matter before deciding. Gu Mingqiao also knew that this matter was not easy to solve, so he could only suppress it for the time being. Yes. Qin bowed forward and saluted the sect leader and all the elders before walking out of the Haotian hall. As soon as he walked out of the Haotian palace, he saw Chu Xinghe standing in the Haotian palace in the distance, waving to him. Although the Haotian order is gone, Chu Xinghe can still enter and leave the Haotian palace at will. Let's not talk about the fact that Chu Xinghe often comes to Haotian palace to consult with the sect master about Haotian's fighting intentions. Let's just talk about Chu Xinghe's popularity in Haotian sect. The senior brothers and sisters on duty at Haotian Palace will not embarrass Chu Xinghe. Qin Xiangqian's eyes lit up when he saw Chu Xinghe waving, and then he quickly ran towards Chu Xinghe. Although it hadn't been long since he and Chu Xinghe were separated last time, Qin Xiangqian still knew everything that happened during this period, single-handedly trampling the younger generation of Emperor Wu city under his feet. Xingyu, who had a seven-color glazed body, was defeated by Chu Xinghe. After that, he became the first person in the world to refine the magic in the medicine refining competition with Tianyao Palace. Dan's fifth-grade alchemist, it shocked all directions. The younger generation is number one in combat power, and the younger generation is number one in alchemy skills. In a short period of time, Chu Xinghe's name had rang in Qin Xiangqian's ears countless times. Every time he thinks of Chu Xinghe, Qin Xiangqian admires him in his heart. Senior brother Xinghe is not only a noble character, but also has unfathomable strength, and more importantly, when he came to the sect to report the news of mine number one this time, he also had a bold idea. Because it was too bold, he hesitated to speak in the Haotian hall. This bold idea has something to do with Chu Xinghe. The last time brother Xinghe knew there was something wrong with the original stone just by looking at it. Qin Xiangqian had never seen this kind of ability to control the original stone after working with it for half his life. This should be the ability brought by the legendary inheritance of the medicine saint. Therefore, Qin Xiangqian felt that if he could let senior brother Xinghe go to Lingmai Mountain and personally select the spiritual mines, it would be a sure thing. But Haotian sect also has Haotian sect's rules. For a long time, even ordinary elders have not dared to intervene in the choice of spiritual mines. After all, once the choice fails, the consequences will be too serious. This is also the reason why the elders were silent after the sect leader opened his mouth. Even the heads of the various palaces and the great elders did not dare to accept it easily. Although senior brother Xinghe had an extraordinary position in the sect, it was impossible for the sect to leave such a big matter to senior brother Xinghe. Regarding Chu Xinghe, Qin Xiangqian didn't hide anything and directly told him the purpose of coming and what was in his heart. After listening to Qin Xiangqian's words, Chu Xinghe was silent for 10 seconds. What does it mean that someone gives you a pillow when you feel sleepy? What does it mean to provide help in times of need? What does it mean to be helpful? What is a good general? From today on, there is only one blessed general in this world, and that is you, Qin Blessed General. The last time he met General Qin Fu, he had brought him a peak level of cultivation at the 3rd level. He had just been distressed by the defeat of Emperor Martial City and Tianyao Palace, but General Qin Fu had actually brought such a great opportunity. That's a spiritual mine. How significant is a spiritual mine to the sect? What an astronomical price to buy a spiritual mine. Oh my God! If this creates a big hole for the sect, what a terrible loss it will be. Emperor Tian has paid off his hard work, and there is another village full of bright flowers and dark trees. Chu Xinghe almost burst into tears. Isn't this the opportunity he has been waiting for? And what makes Chu Xinghe even more gratified is that he doesn't need to be reminded. The first thing Fu Jiang thinks of is him, General Qin Fu. General Qin Fu, I know the rough stone of a hammer, although there is indeed a judgment about raw stones in the medicine saint inheritance, if I take a look at it, I will lose. Suppressing the turbulence in his heart, Chu Xinghe looked at General Qin Fu and said, Qin Fu. President Qin, have you told the sect master about this? Senior brother Xinghe, I don't dare to say anything. After all, this matter is too important, and I'm afraid of cheating senior brother Xinghe. You are cheating me. Chu Xinghe was really anxious this time. If he missed such a good opportunity, he would regret it for the rest of his life. Choosing the Linquanking sect was simply a God-given opportunity. Once you make a wrong choice, the sect will be damaged and you will be promoted. If a sect suffers a loss, someone will always have to take the blame. For such a huge loss, Chu Xinghe feels that even if he is not kicked into the outer sect, his status as a direct disciple will definitely be lost. In this way, he will be punished and reap another wave. Where can I find such an opportunity? President Qin, why are you so confused? If such a big matter is really handed over to an elder who is not good at it, if something goes wrong, the sect will suffer huge losses. Let's go now. Go to Haotian Hall. Chu Xinghe pulled Qin Xiangqian and rushed all the way to Haotian Hall. Qin Xiangqian had a wry smile on his face. In fact, he did not doubt Chu Xinghe's motives and ability to deal with the original stone, mainly a matter of status. How important is the selection of spiritual minds? Only the first-level figures in each palace are qualified. Chu Xinghe is still just a disciple. Even if he is a direct disciple, will the sect really give such an important task to Chu Xinghe? Seeing Chu Xinghe pulling Qin forward into the Haotian Hall, a group of senior officials who were discussing matters in the Haotian Hall were slightly startled. You brat, the sect is discussing business, how dare you barge in without permission? Get out of here. The elders stood up and angrily scolded Chu Xinghe. After hearing the great elder's words, many elders also laughed and said nothing. Even the sect leader Gu Mingqiao smiled and said nothing, but Qin Xiangqian was stunned. He had been so hastily pulled in by brother Xinghe just now that he had forgotten that when the sect leaders and elders were discussing matters, no one was allowed to intrude easily. Qin Xiangqian knew that the Haotian sect had strict rules. There was once a core disciple who accidentally broke into the Haotian palace. In the end, he was deprived of his status as a core disciple and entered the outer sect, but today Chu Xinghe dragged him into the Haotian Hall, and the great elder just said get out of here. Senior brother Xinghe is a disciple of the great elder, so it's understandable that the great elder would protect him, but the other elders, including the sect leader, don't have any objections. This is too exciting. Others broke into Haotian Palace without permission and broke into the outer gate directly. Brother Xinghe broke into Haotian Palace without permission. Why don't you get out of here? Qin Xiangqian grabbed senior brother Xinghe and planned to walk out, but senior brother Xinghe shook Qin Xiangqian away and kept him motionless. Great elder, don't worry, I have something important to report. Contradicted the great elder on the spot. Qin Xiangqian was confused. Brother Xinghe, the great elder told us to get out of here, so we just got out of here. If you contradict the great elder like this now, you will be severely punished. Qin Xiangqian was so frightened that he could hardly hold his legs between his legs and pee. In Haotian sect, it is a serious crime to contradict the great elder. Oh, since you have something to do, let's talk about it. Qin Xiangqian. What the hell is this? Others broke into the Haotian Hall without permission and broke into the outer gate. Brother Xinghe broke into the Haotian hall without permission and contradicted the first elder. The first elder was not angry at all, so he let Chu Xinghe say it. At this moment, Qin Xiangqian realized that he was wrong. He was really wrong. Senior Brother Xinghe's status in Haotian sect is already beyond his imagination. Today, if it were any other disciple, it would be absolutely impossible for him to walk out of the Haotian hall standing. I asked President Qin just now. The sect's number one spiritual mind seems to be exhausted, right? Chu Xinghe said calmly, but as soon as these words came out, Qin Xiangqian turned pale with fright. Brother Xinghe, you really dare to say anything? The matter of this spiritual mind is a secret of the sect. I tell you because I trust you, Senior Brother Xinghe, but if you say it now in front of so many elders and sect leaders, isn't it crazy? Inquiring into the secrets of the sect without authorization is a capital crime. The great elder will definitely be furious now. He's dead today. Qin Xiangqian was almost in tears, but just when he was waiting for the great elder to be furious, the great elder spoke. You're right. Qin Xiangqian. What the hell? That's good, is it okay? Chapter 45 Sect Trust. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Xiangqian felt that his mind was as chaotic as a pot of rice porridge. Senior Brother Xinghe asked about the sect's secrets without permission, but what he got was not the thundering anger of the great elder, but a sentence of well said. Qin Xiangqian felt that his three views were completely overturned. The depletion of the number one spiritual mind is definitely a secret of the Haotian sect. No one is allowed to find out without permission, otherwise, if this matter is exposed, it may bring unimaginable harm to the sect. Only the existence of the head of each palace is qualified to know this level of secrets, and even ordinary elders are not qualified to know, and asking about this level of secrets without permission, even if you don't die, it is definitely the heaviest punishment. But now, what the hell is a sentence of well said? Qin Xiangqian thought he was going to die just now, because Senior Brother Xinghe's asking about secrets without permission is a serious crime, but if he leaked such secrets without permission, it would definitely be a dead end. But now all the elders and the sect master are still smiling. What does it mean? Don't care at all. Xinghe, now that you know, then tell me what you think. That it was the sect master Gu Mingqiao who spoke, and when the sect master said this, Qin Xiangqian was completely dumbfounded. What did the sect master mean by this? Not only did Senior Brother Xinghe know the secret, but he was not punished, and he also asked Senior Brother Xinghe to talk about his ideas. You know, this level of things can affect the future of the sect. Ordinary elders are not qualified to listen, let alone express their opinions, but the sect master actually asked Senior Brother Xinghe to talk about his ideas. Qin Xiangqian felt that this must be a dream, but even if it was a dream, it didn't seem very real. Sect master, President Qin just told me what happened. This number one spiritual mind occupies 10% of the spiritual stone production of my Haotian sect. Now it is exhausted, which has a huge impact on the sect, so I think we should choose a vein that can replace the number one spiritual mind as soon as possible. The sect master and many elders nodded, indicating Chu Xinghe to continue. I discussed with President Qin outside. President Qin had an idea that he didn't dare to tell everyone just now. In fact, he has a candidate in mind for selecting the spiritual mind. Who? The elder spoke, looking at Qin Xiangqian at the same time. Although Qin Xiangqian was sweating profusely, he hurriedly said respectfully, reply to the elder, it's Brother Xinghe. What? Hearing Qin Xiangqian's words, a group of elders were suddenly at a loss, but soon everyone seemed to think of something. Is it because of the last raw stone incident? Reply to the sect master, Brother Xinghe has inherited the inheritance of the medicine saint, and has an ability that ordinary people can hardly reach in distinguishing raw stones. Even the elders of the Shi family are probably inferior to Brother Xinghe. If Brother Xinghe can go to Lingmai Mountain and distinguish the ore veins through raw stones, it will definitely be more accurate. Qin Xiangqian finished speaking in one breath, and many elders and the sect master began to discuss. Qin Xiangqian was ashamed again when he heard the discussions of many elders. He had already thought about it. As soon as he said it, an elder would come out and say that Chu Xinghe was just a disciple of the sect. How could he make such a decision? But Qin Xiangqian never expected that at this moment. No elder said that Chu Xinghe was not qualified, but they were discussing whether Chu Xinghe could really find a better mineral vein. At this moment, Qin Xiangqian knew that Brother Xinghe's status in Haotian's sect had reached a level that he could not imagine. Whether it was the sect master or the elders of each palace, they even tacitly agreed in their hearts that Chu Xinghe had the qualifications to discuss matters here. This has never been done by a disciple in the history of Haotian sect. Xinghe, what do you think? The sect master looked at Chu Xinghe with a smile and said. Reply to the sect master, the disciple has an obligation. You know that this is a serious matter. If you make a mistake, you will be severely punished. The sect master still smiled. I have never thought about whether I will be severely punished or not when serving the sect. I only know to do my best. Ha ha ha, good boy. I will discuss this matter with the elders. You can go back first. Yes. Chu Xinghe said nothing more. He nodded and pulled Qin Xiangqian out of the Haotian hall. It was not until he got outside the Haotian hall that Qin Xiangqian realized that in just a short period of time, his clothes were almost soaked with cold sweat, but looking at senior brother Xinghe again, he looked calm. Facing such a group of big men in the sect, Qin Xiangqian felt that senior brother Xinghe was the only one who could be so calm. In the Haotian hall, Gu Mingqiao looked at everyone. What do you think? Xinghe's ability is self-evident, but he is still young. If there is an accident, it will be a blow to him. Yes, if the wrong choice is made, the loss to the sect will be small, but I feel sorry to punish this child. Punishment is fine, even if this child is sent to the outer sect, it is just a matter of reputation, but I am afraid that this child will be discouraged by the punishment. The elders are talking to each other, and Qin Xiangqian would vomit blood if he heard it here, so, you don't care what kind of loss Chu Xinghe will bring to the sect if he makes a wrong choice, right? Even if Chu Xinghe is punished, you are not angry at all, right? You are just worried that Chu Xinghe will be hit in self-confidence after being punished, right? I think this kid's journey has been too smooth. If he really screws up this time, there's nothing wrong with letting him suffer a little setback. The sect master finally spoke after scanning the audience. The great elder nodded. What the sect master said is true. This child is not the kind of character who will be hit by punishment. Instead, he is the kind of person who becomes more courageous with every setback. He will always be exposed to more things in the sect in the future. As the saying goes, with great ability comes great responsibility. Naturally, it's bigger, so let this kid handle this matter, and there's nothing wrong with giving him some training. The great elder's words caused everyone to nod, including the sect leader, who all looked in agreement. In the end, the sect leader made the decision and left the matter to Chu Xinghe. Everyone was happy when it was done. Even if it was done wrong, the Haotian sect could not bear this blow. If this loss can bring experience to the child Xinghe, everyone they all felt it was worth it. Chu Xinghe did not let Chu Xinghe wait too long. Just after noon, Chu Xinghe came to Haotian Hall again, but this time it was not an intrusion, but a summons from the sect leader. At this moment, only the sect master and the great elder were left in the Haotian Hall. Qin Xiangqian was also summoned together. Disciple pays homage to the sect leader, the great elder. After saluting, the sect leader Gu Mingqiao said, Xinghe, this spiritual mine is of great importance. Such an important matter must be handled by at least the first elder level. However, you have the inheritance of the medicine saint, so you are the best candidate. Therefore, the sect has decided to leave the spiritual mine matter to you, and there will be no elders to follow, so you will handle it alone. The sect leader finished speaking in one breath, and Chu Xinghe looked solemn. Qin Xiangqian looked confused. In fact, after leaving Haotian Hall, Qin Xiangqian had been thinking, would the sect really be handed over to senior brother Xinghe? After all, this matter was of great concern. Qin Xiangqian felt that even if the sect would eventually agree to let senior brother Xinghe go, at least it would send a chief elder or even a grand elder to lead the team in person, so that he could make a decision at that time, but now Qin Xiangqian is really confused. The sect not only agreed, but also gave Chu Xinghe full authority to handle it. Even the elders did not need to follow. This is no longer a question of trust or distrust. What a terrifying symbol of power and status this is. Qin Qianshan looked at Chu Xinghe. At this moment, he knew that he was strong. Brother Xinghe, what kind of thighs were he? This is simply the pillar to heaven. If you hug senior brother Xinghe, will your future be prosperous? Thank you, Sect Master, elders for your trust. Chu Xinghe almost couldn't help but sing have a happy life. Okay, next you can select some disciples from the sect to accompany you, and you can leave anything to them to handle. Yes. Chu Xinghe nodded in agreement. Buzz. A white light flew out from the sect leader's hand. This was the lost Haotian order. The Haotian order flew into the hands of Chu Xinghe again, and the sect leader also spoke. Xinghe, you can take this Haotian order. You can use the Haotian order to handle the matter of the spiritual mind with full authority. There is no need to report it to the sect. Thank you, Sect Master. Chu Xinghe's heart had already begun to play a good life automatically. Having full authority to handle the matter without reporting it to the sect is tantamount to giving all the decision-making power to oneself. When Haotian Ling is outside, it's like the sect master is here in person. In other words, it doesn't matter if he breaks the rules, this is the right time, right place, and all the people are converging on me. I wonder how I can lose this time. Qin Xiangxian's mind was in chaos until he left Haotian Hall. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. There is no need for the elders to follow. The sect has 100% trust in Chu Xinghe. Chu Xinghe has full authority to handle everything with the Haotian order, and there is no need to even report to the sect. Qin Xiangxian felt that even if the sect leader said that he would immediately pass on the position of Haotian sect leader to senior brother Xinghe, he would not be completely unable to accept it. Chu Xinghe didn't waste much time in selecting his accompanying disciples. Fortunate General Mao Yang didn't know where he heard the news that senior brother Xinghe was going out. He immediately found senior brother Xinghe, crying and shouting that he wanted to follow senior brother Xinghe. Chu Xinghe originally rejected this false blessed general, but after thinking about Mao Yang's ability to cause trouble, he still nodded in agreement. After all, when you are away from home, one less thing is worse than one more thing, right? What if Mao Yang will give himself a new surprise? In addition to Mao Yang, junior sister Wan Lin also came. Wan Lin, who has realized the stick intention, has now become a core disciple, so bring it with you too. Then he selected some disciples who knew the basics of the matter, and these selected disciples all had one thing in common, they were all thorn-level beings in each palace and were extremely good at causing trouble. However, they were convinced by senior brother Xinghe, and everyone who was selected cried with joy. Although I don't even know where to go or what to do, I can finally fight alongside brother Xinghe. When the senior brothers in Lingyi Palace learned that Chu Xinghe was going out again, they were all very reluctant to leave. Then Chu Xinghe got a lot of pills that he knew and didn't know how to use. As for the spiritual stones, senior brother Feng Fei, who was said to be stingy last time, directly prepared 2 large boxes of high-grade spiritual stones. Chu Xinghe just wants to know how lucrative Haotian sect's procurement is. Is senior brother Feng so corrupt that no one cares about it? This time, not only the Lingyi Palace, but also other palaces had brothers come to deliver things. What's the spell from Fufa Palace, the poison from Changchun Palace, the hidden weapon from Baibing Palace? 2 Qiankuan rings were stuffed with all kinds of messy things. This is the reason why Chu Xinghe kept a small part after repeated rejections. If he accepted all the items, Chu Xinghe would have to wear all the Qiankuan rings on his 10 fingers to fit them all. After all, he was going to select spiritual ore, not to kill people, so why did he bring so many fighting things? Everything was ready, and the sect leader had arranged the teleportation array. Qin Xiangxian was in tears again, looking at this treatment. He walked back and forth and broke his legs, while senior brother Xinghe could teleport at will when he went out. Window, _tabula equals window, _tabula dot push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula below article feed, placement, below article feed, target _type, mix. Chapter 46. If you don't buy it now, you won't be able to buy it anymore. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Every time the teleportation array is activated, a lot of materials are consumed, so under normal circumstances, the sect rarely uses the teleportation array. However, the sect master personally prepared the teleportation array for Chu Xinghe to go to Lingmai Mountain, although Chu Xinghe used the teleportation array for the second time, when the light fell and everyone appeared in Lingmai Mountain. This guy almost vomited gastric juice because of his low cultivation. Chu Xinghe naturally didn't react much after sitting twice, and the cultivation of other junior brothers and sisters was also okay. Although they reacted, it was much better than the first time. President Qin can't just abandon cultivation because of the Chamber of Commerce. Ma Liang smiled and looked at Qin Xiangqian, who was almost fainted from vomiting. Qin Xiangqian didn't know whether to laugh or cry about this. Young master, do you think I'm the same as you? You are an inner disciple. You are extremely talented and a genius. I am just an outer disciple who has no achievements and was sent to the Chamber of Commerce. Anyone with a talent for cultivation, who the hell would go to the Chamber of Commerce? The teleportation array landed directly on Lingmai Mountain. Chu Xinghe told every junior brother and sister who accompanied him the purpose of this trip without hesitation. Although he said that he must not let it out, his heart was full of desire. Unfortunately, the solemnity on everyone's face made Chu Xinghe understand that the junior brothers and sisters were probably going to disappoint him. Don't worry, senior brother Xinghe, this matter is of great importance. We will never leak a word and will never let senior brother Xinghe down. Ma Liang patted his chest and promised. And the other junior brothers and sisters also nodded heavily. Such a big secret, senior brother Xinghe told us without hesitation. If we tell it out, are we still human? Senior brother Xinghe trusts us so much. We must not let senior brother Xinghe down. This feeling of being trusted is really good. Lingmai Mountain is the southernmost mountain range in Liang continent. It is called Lingmai Mountain because it is rich in spiritual stones, and all the major sects in the world also have their own spiritual mines in Lingmai Mountain. Qin Xiangqian, who was in a semi-depressed state, held on to lead the way. After half a day of deep exploration in Lingmai Mountain, everyone arrived at the destination of this time, Lingcheng. Lingcheng is the largest city in the entire Lingmai Mountain. It is also the location of the resident chambers of commerce of major sects on weekdays. The raw stones collected from the Lingmai Mountain are also transported to the resident of each sect. Various transactions are also carried out here. The raw stones produced by the Lingmai mine are not directly Lingshire. The raw stones need to be turned into Lingshire before they can be turned into Lingshire. The Shire family, one of the three major families, started their business by turning Lingshire, and they are also the family that is most proficient in the art of turning Lingshire in the world today. It is not an empty statement that the world's Lingshire comes from the Shire family. After the Lingshire produced is transported to Lingcheng, it will be turned here, and then it will be transported to the major sections. So although Lingcheng is not too big, it is the place with the most Lingshire in the world. The headquarters of the Haotian Sect Chamber of Commerce is also in the most prosperous East District of Lingcheng. Qin Xiangqian brought all the staff of the Haotian Chamber of Commerce branch to meet Chu Xinghe. When some young people in the Chamber of Commerce heard that the person in front of them was Chu Xinghe, their eyes lit up. In the past few days, Chu Xinghe's name has spread everywhere, especially among the younger generation. Who doesn't yearn for it? However, compared with the yearning of young people, some Chamber of Commerce executives who know the specific situation of the number one spirit mine in the Chamber of Commerce are nervous. They pulled Qin Xiangqian aside. President, you didn't tell the sect about the number one spirit mine this time. I did. Then, why didn't the sect come to deal with this matter? The executives didn't understand. This is the most important thing. It stands to reason that the sect should send a powerful elder-level figure to deal with it as soon as possible. Isn't he here? What? President, are you talking about? Chu Xinghe, that the executives were confused. They even doubted whether the president had made it clear to the sect. The number one spiritual mine is exhausted, and a new spiritual mine needs to be selected. The selection of a new spiritual mine requires huge assets to purchase. Such a major matter is actually left to Chu Xinghe to handle. This is not a joke, right? But soon, when Qin Xiangqian quietly explained to the senior leaders what happened in the Haotian sect, everyone was silent. the sect master personally took out the Haotian order and let Chu Xinghe handle the matter with full authority. Even the elders don't have to follow, which simply subverts everyone's three views. Let such a young disciple handle this matter. Isn't the sect afraid that Chu Xinghe's mistake will cause the sect to suffer huge losses? So what are the bigwigs of the sect thinking? The senior leaders can't understand, but Chu Xinghe has thought it through. In their eyes, the spiritual mind is of great importance, but in the eyes of the sect, the spiritual mind is obviously not as important as senior brother Xinghe, so even though they know that senior brother Xinghe is young and may make mistakes in handling this matter, the sect still handed it over to Chu Xinghe without hesitation, giving Chu Xinghe an opportunity to handle a big thing alone, even if they messed up this time. The sect was willing to teach Chu Xinghe a lesson. The sect was training Chu Xinghe as the future leader of Haotian sect. After everyone met Chu Xinghe, they went back to their work. Chu Xinghe brought 2 assistants from the Chamber of Commerce to Chu Xinghe. Brother Xinghe, this is some information we collected about the spiritual minds that can be purchased. Please take a look. The data was opened, and the specific conditions of various spiritual minds on sale were clearly marked, including the location, output and the time when the spiritual minds might be mined. President Qin, thank you for your trouble. Chu Xinghe took a quick look, but shook his head secretly. It's not that the spiritual minds marked above are not good, but that they are too good. Is this the spiritual mine I want? Look at this. It says that although the price is the highest, the spiritual stones produced are not much different from the number 1 mine, and it may even exceed the number 1 mine if it is mined in depth. If Haotian sect buys this, won't it make a lot of money? Can such a potential spiritual mine be bought? And this, it says that although the output is not as good as the number 1 mine, there is a promising future, and the price is low, which is the most suitable for purchase. This is even worse. If you buy this, how can you ensure the loss of the sect? So Chu Xinghe just shook his head. Qin Fujiang, you have disappointed me this time. What is this crossed out? Ma Liang pointed to one of the crossed out ones and said. Replying to senior brother Ma Liang, this spiritual mine is the Tianyi spiritual mine discovered by the Shi family before. It is also the spiritual mine that produced those fake raw stones last time. Now this spiritual mine is already a waste mine. Waste mine? Chu Xinghe's eyes lit up when he heard this. This is not a waste mine, this is simply the mine of my dreams. The last time this Tianyi spiritual mine produced a large amount of raw stones, the major sects were almost vomiting blood and dying. If it weren't for my accidental hit, Haotian sect would probably have been cheated and cursed. Having missed the last opportunity, Chu Xinghe swore that he would never miss the second time. Tianyi spiritual mine, right? This name, it's not an ordinary mine. Tianyi, the best in the world. Where can I find such a perfect spiritual mine? Is this Tianyi spiritual mine for sale? Chu Xinghe said solemnly. The Shi family put it up for sale a few days ago, but you know, brother Xinghe, this mine has cheated countless people. How could anyone be stupid enough to buy it? I heard that the Shi family is going to take it off the shelves these days. How can that be? Just buy it, that the audience. Ahem. Brother Xinghe, this Tianyi spiritual mine has been proven to be a waste mine, and the Shi family may take it off the shelves soon. So contact the Shi family quickly and buy it quickly. We will never bargain. If it really doesn't work, we will buy it even if we pay more. If we don't buy it now, we won't be able to buy it anymore. Chu Xinghe was anxious. This is the dream mine. If you miss this mine, where can you find a worse mine than this one? Chu Xinghe was dumbfounded. The senior executives of the Chamber of Commerce were even more confused. Even Ma Liang couldn't help but speak up. Brother Xinghe, this Tianyi spiritual mine is not suitable. It's too suitable. President Qin, you go and arrange this matter immediately. It's Tianyi spiritual mine. Chu Xinghe was so anxious that he even took out the Haotian order. Chu Xinghe shed tears when he saw the glittering Haotian order, but soon he seemed to have thought of something. He glanced at Chu Xinghe. Senior brother Xinghe was not a rash person. Last time, he didn't understand what senior brother Xinghe meant, so he left so many raw ores, and finally he paid all his money to fill the hole. So this time, could it be that senior brother Xinghe discovered something that no one expected? It doesn't seem like it. After senior brother Xinghe came here, he didn't even take a second look at the Tianyi spirit mine, but he was determined to buy it. This is too mysterious. Qin Xiangqian was nervous, but the Haotian order was out. How could he dare not obey it? He could only take people to do it according to Chu Xinghe's instructions, but after leaving the station, the two senior executives around Qin Xiangqian stopped him. President, why do I feel like this is a mess? Why don't we report it to the sect? That the deputy was almost crying. In the past, buying spiritual mines required all kinds of investigations and evidence collection, and all kinds of inspections and analyses. It would take 2 or 3 months to make a final decision. Chu Xinghe has only been here for 1 day, and he wants to buy the Tianyi spiritual mine that the Shi family has identified as a waste mine. This is crazy. Qin Xiangqian's eyes were firm, and he shook his head. The sect leader said that senior brother Xinghe has full authority to handle it, and we will just follow his orders. But no need to say more, let's go. Let's go to the Shi family. Qin Xiangqian took his deputy to the Shi family's residence in Lingqing without saying a word. When the person in charge of the Shi family in Lingqing heard that Qin Xiangqian wanted to buy the Tianyi spiritual mine, everyone was stunned. Has the Haotian sect been kicked in the head by a donkey? No matter whether the people of the Haotian sect are mentally ill or not, the person in charge of the Shi family was moved to tears. When they found out that they bought the Tianyi spiritual mine, the Shi family had spent a lot of money. Now it is found to be a waste mine, and the Shi family wants to sell it, but who will take it over? Just when the Shi family themselves are desperate, Haotian sect wants to buy it. Faced with such a big sucker, the head of the Shi family took out the good tea that he had collected for 20 years and personally brewed a strong cup for Qin Xiangqian. He nodded and bowed when talking to Qin Xiangqian, not because he was afraid of Qin Xiangqian, but simply because he was afraid that the fool would react and run away. The negotiation went very smoothly, and various details were quickly finalized. The fastest spiritual mine transaction in history was born on the first day Chu Xinghe arrived at Lingmai Mountain. Chapter 47 Chu Xinghe the Big Fool. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the first day that Chu Xinghe came to Lingmai Mountain, he directly purchased the Tianyi spirit mine from the Shi family in the name of Haotian sect. When the Haotian order fell on the contract, almost all the senior officials of the Haotian Chamber of Commerce, except Qin Xiangqian, had sleepwalking expressions on their faces. The people from the Shi family were Haotian Chamber of Commerce who left with wild laughter. That last expression seemed to say to the people of Haotian Chamber of Commerce, you are all a bunch of idiots. Not to mention the Shi family. After the news spread within the Haotian Chamber of Commerce, even the people in the Haotian Chamber of Commerce thought Chu Xinghe was an idiot. The Tianyi Ling mine was once priced at the highest price in history by the Shi family, but after the waste rock incident, everyone realized that the Tianyi Ling mine was actually a waste mine that the Shi family had overlooked. Even so, the price of Tianyi Ling mine has been cut in half by the Shi family many times, but the actual price is still an astronomical figure. Even many major sects feel numb when they hear this number. Even though the Haotian sect is a big family and a big business, such a large transaction volume will not be a big deal, but this is a waste mine. Isn't it an idiot to buy waste mines like this? If all the young people in the Haotian Chamber of Commerce admired Chu Xinghe yesterday, today these people just think that Chu Xinghe is a fool, a complete fool. Naturally, such an important transaction could not be concealed. The news spread throughout Lingqing in a short time, and even each sect reported the matter to its own sect as quickly as possible. The first reaction of everyone who heard the news was, has this Chu Xinghe been kicked in the head by a donkey? But even if his brain was caught by the door panel, would the rest of Haotian sect's brains also shrink? Even if the sect leader did not handle such an important matter as purchasing a spiritual mine, it would at least be handled by a highly respected elder. Whoever buys spiritual minerals is not allowed to conduct various comparisons, investigations, and bargaining. Purchasing a spiritual mine is like fighting a tough battle, but you, Chu Xinghe, bought the Tianyi spirit mine without saying a word on the first day you arrived. What else is this if you are not a fool? You just want to buy other spiritual mines, but this is the Tianyi spiritual mine. Everyone knows that it was a waste mine that the Shi family took advantage of. Are you sure that Chu Xinghe, who bought the Tianyiling mine, doesn't have a grudge against the Haotian sect and is deliberately draining the Haotian sect's strength? This Chu Xinghe has been rumored by all parties before, what a peerless talent, the number one among the younger generation. But now after this transaction, everyone has begun to doubt, can such a fool be the legendary number one of the younger generation? Or is this guy too inflated because of everything before? Lingcheng, Dongqing District, and Emperor Wu City are also located here. At this time, in the residence of Emperor Wu City, the steward of the Emperor's City Chamber of Commerce was standing next to a man who seemed to have stepped out of a comic book. Now the outside world is saying that this Chu Xinghe is a fool. If such a guy really becomes the future leader of the Haotian sect, there is no need for the Haotian sect to be destroyed in his hands, that the steward reported to Zheng in front of him with a smile on his face. But after listening to the steward's words, Zheng didn't speak for a long time, and he didn't know how long it took before he shook his head. You are wrong. They say Chu Xinghe is a fool because they have never seen Chu Xinghe. This person is the most outstanding among all the young people I have ever seen. He is unfathomable. This time Chu Xinghe behaved like this. Purchasing Tianyi spiritual mine with thunder is by no means as simple as it seems. In this case, isn't there a small mine next to the Tianyiling mine that has the same origin as the Tianyiling mine? You should find a way to take down this small Ling mine immediately. Ah, that the steward is stupid. Now the outside world says that Chu Xinghe is a fool for buying a waste mine like Tianyiling mine, but Zheng actually wants to buy the small mine next to Tianyiling mine that is also considered an abandoned mine. What is this operation? Should this matter be reported to the city lord? Need not. Zheng flicked his hand, and a black Emperor Wu order appeared in his hand. Chu Xinghe was able to obtain the Haotian order. Considering Zheng status in Emperor Wu's city, it was reasonable for him to obtain the order of Emperor Wu. Do this now or it will be too late. Ah, yes, yes. The steward went to do his work with a bitter look on his face. When the steward left, Zheng looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle, with a sense of vicissitudes in his eyes. Outsiders all say that senior brother Xinghe is a fool, but that's because they have never personally experienced how terrifying senior brother Xinghe is. To buy the Tianyi spirit mine so quickly, that senior brother Xinghe must have discovered some important secret. It's a pity that the news was received too late. Otherwise, I, Emperor Wu, would have to eat a portion of the spiritual mine today, but now I can only eat this small mine, which is better than nothing. There was worry in Zheng eyes. Although he had no idea why brother Xinghe acted so strangely, Zheng believed that Chu Xinghe was definitely not an innocent person, so he bought this small mine without hesitation. The news that Tianyiling mine was sold quickly spread back to the Shi family. The head of the Shi family, Shi Qingshan, and a group of elders were so excited that they almost peed after hearing it. God help my Shi family. I thought that the Tianyi spirit mine would really become a nightmare for my Shi family, but I didn't expect that the Haotian sect would. Ha ha ha. Don't be too happy yet. Although the contract has been signed, the Haotian sect has not yet paid. No one in this world has ever dared to break a contract with the Haotian sect. Similarly, there is no need to worry that the Haotian sect will violate the contract. What kind of existence is the Haotian sect? How can it be possible for it to default on its debts? Yes, yes, yes. Today is a great day, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate, let's celebrate. But just as a group of elders were laughing, a voice came from outside. You idiots! Tianyi spiritual mine is a peerless spiritual mine. You actually sold it. You will regret it. Accompanied by this voice, a crazy guy ran in from the door. When they saw this guy, many elders of the Shi family immediately looked gloomy. Why did you let him out? Come on, take him back. A disciple from the Shi family hurried over to pull the madman away. This madman was none other than Shi Qingshan's younger brother Shi Qinghe. This guy had been obsessed with the Shi family's soul-exploring technique since he was a child, and followed the family elders to explore the spiritual mines. This guy didn't care about anything else except the spiritual mines, but Chu Xinghe's soul-exploring technique was also really powerful. Many spiritual minds of the Shi family were discovered by him. This time, the Tianyi spiritual mind was also discovered by Chu Xinghe, but this time Chu Xinghe was wrong. The Tianyi spiritual mind became a waste mine. Even because of the matter of the Tianyi spiritual mind, the Shi family was blocked by the major sects and asked to explain. The Shi family also bleeds hard to expose the matter. Now that the Tianyi spiritual mind has finally been sold, Chu Xinghe is still exaggerating. Does this guy know how much psychological damage the Tianyi spiritual mind he discovered has brought to the family? A group of Shi family members were not ruined by Chu Xinghe. The Shi family held a banquet and drank happily. In Haotian sect, the Haotian mirror in the Haotian hall was not activated. This time when Chu Xinghe went down the mountain, the sect master did not let anyone watch him. However, at this time, the heads of various palaces still gathered in the Haotian hall, and the reason was all from the spirit bird in the sect master's hand. Everyone read the news brought by the spirit bird, and all the elders who had read it were silent at this moment. "Master, please allow me to go down the mountain and bring Xinghe back. I will handle the affairs of the Shi family." It was the elder who spoke. The elder's face was black at this moment. This time, Chu Xinghe went to deal with the matter of the spiritual mind with the Haotian order. The elder had high hopes for Chu Xinghe, but who could have imagined that one day later, a spiritual bird came from the sky, and the news that Chu Xinghe had directly bought the abandoned Tianyi spiritual mine on the first day of his arrival shocked all directions. The elder almost vomited blood after seeing it. "Master, please be patient. Our Haotian sect has not fallen to the point where we can't afford to lose this little money." As soon as the master said this, all the elders nodded silently. Purchasing Tianyi spiritual mine is a huge expense, but to say that it will hurt the Haotian sect is really a joke. The elder sighed and sat down. "I don't need to say much about Xinghe. Everyone knows it. I think this matter is not that simple. This child is definitely not the kind of person who does things recklessly, so we should wait and see." After the sect master said this, everyone nodded again. What he said is correct. If you say that other disciples of the sect do things recklessly outside, the elders don't think there is anything wrong with it, but if you say that Xinghe is doing things recklessly, the elders will definitely not admit it. Xinghe is a good child. When has he not devoted himself to the sect? When has he not been at the forefront of the sect's affairs? Not afraid of hardship, not afraid of fatigue, not afraid of punishment, not afraid of crime. You say that such a child is doing things recklessly? No one in the Haotian sect can agree. Besides, even if this kid really made the wrong choice, then let it be. It's a good thing to teach him a lesson and make him more calm in the future. Not bad, not bad. Even if this kid made a mistake, it's a good thing to teach him a lesson. I think it's reliable. A group of elders talked to each other, and finally the sect master slammed the table. Let's wait and see what kind of backup plan Xinghe has behind him. The sect master firmly believes that Xinghe will never do anything wrong. There must be a reason that outsiders can't understand for buying Tianyi spirit mine this time. In Lingqing, Chu Xinghe took the contract to buy Tianyi spirit mine and kissed it hard twice. Just ask if I'm stable this time. If a waste mine like Tianyi spirit mine is successfully taken, I wonder if the sect will suffer losses this time. This time, I'm definitely going to be punished. Who can stop me? However, why has the contract been signed, and there is no reaction to the doom compass until now? Is it because it hasn't been paid yet? How can this be? Hurry up and find Chu Xinghe, and urge him to go through all the formalities quickly. We have already bought the spiritual mine, and if you don't pay the money quickly, our Haotian sect will lose face. What if someone accuses us of defaulting on our debt? Chapter 48 Minor Disciple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing that Brother Xinghe urged him to pay, Chu Xinghe smiled bitterly. Although the contract was signed, Chu Xinghe wondered if the sect would really pay after the matter was reported to the sect. Although he did not understand Brother Xinghe's mysterious operation at all, Chu Xinghe still believed in Brother Xinghe's methods. But no matter what, Chu Xinghe could only follow Brother Xinghe's instructions to ask the sect for payment. He had already prepared for the news that he would be scolded or even directly rejected by the sect, but something unbelievable happened to Chu Xinghe. After the sect got the news, they almost handed over the full amount to Chu Xinghe without saying a word. Chu Xinghe was really dumbfounded. Is this Brother Xinghe's transcendent status in Haotian sect? With such an outrageous transaction, if it were someone else, the sect would probably have sent an investigation team to investigate whether this person had betrayed the sect, but Brother Xinghe's mysterious operation, the sect paid the money without saying a word. Who can be dissatisfied with this operation? When Chu Xinghe gave the money to his men to send to the Shi family, the entire Haotian Chamber of Commerce was in an uproar. Before, many people speculated that the sect would not pay at all, and would not even acknowledge the transaction, but they never expected that the sect not only acknowledged it, but did not even ask a single question. For a moment, those who shouted to report Chu Xinghe's affairs to the sect were all silent. At this moment, they realized what the three words Chu Xinghe represented in the Haotian sect. The full amount was paid to the Shi family, and Tianyi spirit mine officially became the property of the Haotian sect from this moment on. All the people of the Shi family withdrew from Tianyi spirit mine, and were not allowed to take even a stone. The people of the Haotian sect also officially took over the entire Tianyi spirit mine. Chu Xinghe waited for a day after receiving the news, but the doom compass still did not react at all. Nima. What the hell is this? This astronomical figure to buy such a waste mine, causing such a huge loss to the sect, isn't it justified to upgrade 3 levels directly? But what does it mean that you have no reaction now? After thinking about it, Chu Xinghe felt that it was probably because the truth had not yet been exposed, so the doom compass had not been open for settlement. It was just a matter of a few days, so Chu Xinghe was not in a hurry. Chu Xinghe was idle, so he found Chu Xinghe. President Qin, if there is anything you can't solve, I'm here to help you. Chu Xinghe was extremely satisfied with the lucky General Chu Xinghe. Every time Chu Xinghe was there, everything was stable. Things that can't be solved. There is one thing. I have reported it to the sect before. It is difficult to recruit minor disciples now. The number is getting smaller and smaller, and the number of raw stones mined is also decreasing. The minor disciples Chu Xinghe mentioned are actually those who mine raw stones in the spirit mine. The mining of spirit mines is not something that anyone can do. If you want to mine raw stones, you must have spiritual power. The so-called minor disciples are actually disciples of Haotian sect from a certain perspective, and they are a level lower than outer disciples. However, these disciples cannot be considered as real disciples. After all, there is only one kind of person who can become a minor disciple, that is, a person who has talent but is extremely poor, and who does not believe in fate and insists on practicing. Such people generally do not even have the qualifications to become an outer sect, and can only become minor disciples. Although minor disciples will also get some cultivation techniques, these techniques are all of the lowest level, and there is no chance to practice for a lifetime. The reason why the sect gives them techniques is to use these disciples to cultivate spiritual power and then mine. Or Chu Xinghe did not know much about these minor disciples. Now that Chu Xinghe mentioned it, Chu Xinghe planned to go and see what these minor disciples were like. Accompanied by Chu Xinghe, Chu Xinghe brought a group of junior brothers and sisters from Haotian sect to the spirit mine of Haotian sect, but as soon as he arrived here, Chu Xinghe was stunned by everything in front of him. The miners stood in rows, waiting for Chu Xinghe's inspection, but they were all in tattered clothes and looked pale and thin. You call them disciples? They are not even miners. They are just a group of refugees, okay? Chu Xinghe was soon shocked by the situation of the entire spiritual mine. There were 10 people in a small shabby house, and there was not even a bed in the house. All the miners could only sleep on the floor. The food they ate was like pig food. From the day they became miners, it was like they were sold to Haotian sect. Not to mention leaving, they didn't even have a day to rest. They could only work in the mine of Haotian sect like zombies until the day they died. Chu Xinghe. You call this a minor disciple of the Haotian sect? This is a violation of the Geneva Convention. Ah. What the hell? Don't worry about what the hell, this is our minor disciple of the Haotian sect. Not only Chu Xinghe, but even the junior brothers and sisters who came with Chu Xinghe were stunned. Everyone knows that the disciples of the Haotian sect are divided into 3 levels. The best treatment is naturally the inner disciples, followed by the outer disciples, and the minor disciples. But if you didn't see it with your own eyes, who would know that the minor disciples were treated like this? Brothers and sisters don't know. Chu Xinghe explained the reason bitterly. In fact, many years ago, although the salary of the minor disciples of various sects was not high, it was not too bad, and the minor disciples of super sects like Haotian sect can compete with the outer disciples of some small sections. In addition to having to work every day, some of various resources will also be provided, and you can even get some acceptable training techniques. But what really made things happen like this was because of the Sure family. The Sure family was the first family to reduce the salary of minors' disciples on the grounds that minors' disciples should not have such high treatment and it would affect output. Although it is very inhumane, I have to say that the Sure family's approach is very effective. It reduces the various treatments of the minors' disciples and increases the working hours of the minors' disciples. As a result, the output has really increased sharply. When each sect sees this good guy, roll it up. Then the nightmare of the minors' disciples began. Then you really cut me off and put me on stage, each one doing whatever it takes for the sake of production. To this day, what kind of benefits do minor disciples have? Apart from being able to learn the lowest skills of the sect and occasionally receiving some negligible resources, minor disciples are like a group of slaves. It was not that the various sects were unaware of this situation, but they all chose to acquiesce in the end, which resulted in the current situation. When Chu Xinghe finished speaking, all the junior brothers and sisters of Haotian sect looked at Chu Xinghe. Seeing the treatment of these minor disciples with their own eyes, they couldn't bear it, but they didn't know that they were humble in the Haotian sect, and even if they spoke, there would be no results, so it would only be useful if senior brother Xinghe spoke. Ah! I don't know whether others acquiesce or not, but I, Chu Xinghe, will never allow this. Although minor disciples are even less talented than outer disciples, since they are my Haotian sect disciples, how can they live like slaves? Chu Xinghe was really angry. Is this a disciple? This is a coolie exploited by capitalists. Senior brother Xinghe, this matter must not be messed up. This matter is not just for our Haotian sect, but also for every sect in the world. If our Haotian sect does anything rashly, I am afraid it will cause dissatisfaction from all parties. When the time comes, it's inevitable that they will attack in groups. Chu Xinghe quickly reminded Chu Xinghe, attack them in groups. Damn it! What about this good thing? Originally, when I saw the treatment of the minors' disciples today, I really felt sorry for them, and I sincerely wanted to change everything. I didn't think about anything else at all, but a lucky general is a lucky general, and he brought such a huge surprise to himself at the slightest disagreement. Mao Yang, let's see, we are both blessed generals, but how can we be so different as human beings? You don't need to talk about this anymore. Chu Xinghe took out the Haotian token again. Pass my order. Starting from today, the treatment of all minor disciples will be reformulated, and I will personally determine it. In addition, pour out all the pig food in those pots, and go to the city to invite me some of the best people. Good cook, from today on, all minor disciples' meals will be served according to the standards of outer disciples. This. Chu Xinghe was shocked. Didn't senior brother Xinghe hear what he just said clearly? The result of the minor disciples is the result of the involution of each sect. Everyone is frantically reducing the salary of the minor disciples for the sake of production. If anyone dares to do the opposite at this time, he will be the enemy of all sections. I am afraid that it will bring about consequences. Terrible consequences, but since the Haotian order was there, Chu Xinghe naturally did not dare to say anything and immediately ordered people to follow Chu Xinghe's request. Soon, chefs from the city were invited and various ingredients were purchased. Large pots began to form around the mine. The aroma of meat in the pot soon spread throughout the mine, and although the miners' disciples had a smile on their faces when they smelled the aroma, they were still mostly numb. A big shot from the sect has arrived. Our food should be improved today. A dark-skinned young minor disciple said cheerfully. Tinu, don't you know that others don't know? Isn't this improvement of food just for show? When the big shot leaves, everything will continue as before. What's the matter? I like eating meat. I'm happy if I can eat meat. The other minor disciples just smiled and said nothing. Is your name Tinu? A voice came from not far away, and Chu Xinghe walked over accompanied by Chu Xinghe. See you, sir. A group of Haotian Sect's minor disciples all knelt on the ground looking at Chu Xinghe's clothes that represented his direct disciples, but Chu Xinghe felt indescribably heartbroken when he saw this scene. Everyone, get up, I'm not a sect elder, you can just call me senior brother Xinghe, there's no need for that. Chu Xinghe quickly stepped forward and helped the minor disciples with dull eyes up from the ground. Sir, I, Tinu, would like to ask, how many days will you stay here? My name is senior brother Xinghe. Why do you ask that? Oh, big brother Xinghe, if you stay here a few more days, we can eat more meat. Tinu looked like he was not very smart, but his words made Chu Xinghe feel ashamed. Looking at other miners, they should have the same idea as Tinu. Looking across the audience, Chu Xinghe spoke slowly. It doesn't matter how many days I stay here, but I can tell you that from today on, you can eat meat every day, no matter if I am here or not. Whoever dares to defraud you, no matter how much treatment you receive, I guarantee that even if the King of Heaven comes, I won't be able to protect him. $window, _tabula equals window, _tabula push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula below article feed, placement, below article feed, target type, mix. Chapter 49, Treason. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The aroma of meat filled the Linghuang at noon. All the miners lined up to get a big bowl of braised pork. Perhaps it was the enjoyment brought by the food that made these miners, who had suffered so much inhuman treatment, smile rarely. Tinu followed Chu Xinghe while eating the braised pork in the bowl. Brother Xinghe, woo, you are a good person, don't let me follow you, I am unlucky and I am afraid of bringing you bad luck. Tinu spoke with a simple face. Tinu's surname is Wang, and his name is Wang Tinu. He is not talking nonsense when he says that he has bad luck. Chu Xinghe and Qin Xiangqian asked and found out that Wang Tinu is indeed a person with extremely bad luck. This kid not only has a bad brain, but also has extremely bad luck. Since entering the Linghuang, he has basically not mined a large piece of raw stone. Wherever Tinu goes, it is basically black. This guy, in the words of the people in the Linghuang, has a bad luck constitution. So many people are reluctant to get close to Tinu, but after hearing this, Chu Xinghe was so excited. Bring bad luck? There is such a good thing. I have summarized before, why did I fail every time I tried so hard? It should be because of luck, my luck is too good. Now there is a person who brings bad luck to taint my luck and suck it away from me, then the road to becoming a martial emperor is just around the corner. So Chu Xinghe took Tinu to patrol the Ling mine without hesitation. After lunch, a group of miners prepared to continue working according to the usual rules. There is no rest time here. Every day, except for the necessary sleeping and eating time, all the time must be worked with all their strength. But just when they were about to work, a piece of news made all the miners dumbfounded. From today, after lunch, all disciples will have an hour of rest time. Hearing this news, the miners and disciples were stunned. After confirming that they had heard it correctly, a cheer broke out in the entire Ling mine, but their cheers were not over yet, and countless carriages of the Haotian Chamber of Commerce also appeared in the spiritual mine. Countless brand new minor disciple uniforms were taken from the carriages and began to be distributed in the spiritual mine. Every miner received 2 brand new minor disciple uniforms at once. The minor disciples were completely dumbfounded. What big day is today? Improved food, can rest, and brand new disciple uniforms. What is going on? While countless minor disciples were talking about it, Qin Xiangqian also looked at Chu Xinghe with a wry smile. Brother Xinghe, it's okay if you want to improve their living conditions, but this resource improvement will really cause trouble. Qin Xiangqian was stunned when he saw the distribution of various resource treatments formulated by Chu Xinghe for the minor disciples. In the past, these minor disciples would consume about 1% of the output of the spiritual mine every year. Chu Xinghe was anxious on the spot after hearing this. What the hell? 1%. Is this also considered a human treatment? It must be improved. Crazy improvement. Brother Xinghe, according to your plan, these miners will consume at least 10% of the output of the spiritual mine every year. How can we ensure the supply of spiritual stones for the sect? This will bring losses to the sect, bring losses to the sect. Chu Xinghe's eyes lit up when he heard Qin Shangqian's words. Just now, he was only concerned with sympathizing with these miners, and almost forgot about the problem of causing losses to the sect. Now look at the plan he made. Only consuming 10% of the output. He is too shameless. Am I still a human being? So Chu Xinghe waved his hand and the resources increased again. Qin Shangqian almost fainted when he saw the number Chu Xinghe wrote down in the end. The spiritual mine treats the miners according to 30% of the output of the spiritual mine every year. All miners have 4 days off every month. If there is a special event, they can take a leave of no more than 3 days, and no treatment will be deducted. The cultivation method practiced by all miners has been upgraded from the lowest level to the cultivation method second only to the outer disciples. All the treatments of all the miners are second only to those of the outer disciples. As the notes appeared one after another, Qin Shangqian could only think of 4 words: treason. Senior Brother Xinghe, are you going to poke a hole in the sky? In the past, 99% of the output of the spiritual mines would be sent to the sect, but even so, the sect still required an increase in production every year. Now you require 30% to stay and only send 70%. In addition, these miners used to work full days every month, but now they not only have rest time every day, but also have to rest every month. In this way, won't the output of the spiritual mines be lower? After calculating this, Qin Shangqian had only one idea. It is estimated that the spiritual stones sent to the sect every year may not even reach half of the past, right? No matter how high your status is, if the sect loses half of its spiritual stones every year, wouldn't it be a big deal? Qin Shangqian wanted to persuade Senior Brother Xinghe, but Senior Brother Xinghe didn't listen at all. He directly asked Mao Yang to post the treatment of various miners he wrote down. The flashing Haotian order mark on it represents the supreme authority of Haotian sect. Qin Shangqian knew that something big was going to happen. Senior Brother Xinghe's series of actions were much more terrifying than buying the Tianyi spiritual mine. The sect's spiritual stones were damaged every year, and what was even more terrifying was that once the Haotian sect did this, wouldn't the miners from other sects rebel? Everyone used to be miserable, so we just accepted the rules, but suddenly one day we found that others were better than us, so there would be trouble. People are like this, we can't compare, and once we compare, there will be trouble. However, Chu Xinghe didn't listen to a word of Qin Shangqian's persuasion. Something big? Haha. I'm waiting for something big to happen. It's not easy to come out, and it's not easy to get the Haotian order. This time, can I not poke the sky to the ground? Soon, when Mao Yang posted the treatment that Chu Xinghe had formulated for the minor disciples, all the spiritual minds in the Haotian sect were in an uproar. All the minor disciples looked at the newly formulated treatment, and their first reaction was that this was a dream. To put it bluntly, this treatment is a little worse than that of the outer disciples of the Haotian sect, but it is higher than the treatment of the outer disciples of ordinary sects. Even for some small sects, the inner disciples only have this treatment, right? Can this be true? But when the Haotian order seal, which represents the highest authority of the Haotian sect, flashed in front of everyone, the miners understood, this Senior Brother Xinghe is serious. He is not like those so-called sect leaders who came here to make so-called promises, but left one by one. What they said is not as good as farts. Chaos. The entire spirit mine of the Haotian sect was in chaos. Mao Yang was surrounded by countless miners. This, sir, is it true what is written above? Call me Senior Brother Mao Yang. Mao Yang said calmly, imitating Senior Brother Xinghe. Senior Brother Mao Yang, this is not a joke. Yes, yes, yes. Senior Brother Mao Yang, this joke is a bit too big, isn't it? Mao Yang glanced at a group of miners. Are you kidding? Humph. You are the ones who are kidding. Open your eyes and look at what's on it. It's the Master's Haotian order. Who dares to joke about the Haotian order? And do you know who made this plan? That's Senior Brother Xinghe. You probably don't know who Senior Brother Xinghe is. Let me tell you, Senior Brother Xinghe is the best of the young generation in the world today. Mao Yang exaggerated a series of events about Chu Xinghe in Haotian sect and shared them with the miners one by one, and Senior Brother Xinghe in Mao Yang's mouth is like a saint. Take care of every junior brother and sister, and be punished for them. Respect every senior brother and sister, even if they are direct disciples, and inherit the battle will of the Master Haotian, and never look down on anyone because of their status. Defeated the young generation of Wudi City with one person. Xinghe with the 7-color glazed body was defeated in one move in front of Senior Brother Xinghe. Afterwards, he refined a peerless divine pill as a 5th-grade alchemist, and was called the best of the young generation in the alchemy world. This time, the sect entrusted an important task to Senior Brother Xinghe to come and select spiritual minds for the sect, and even to make the full decision. As Mao Yang's words came out, all the miners' eyes were full of disbelief. In addition to Mao Yang, Wan Lin and other junior brothers and sisters also spoke one by one about what Senior Brother Xinghe did in Haotian sect. Slowly, every minor disciple was fascinated. Senior Brother Xinghe. Is this the legendary Senior Brother Xinghe? When he came to the spiritual mine yesterday, everyone thought it was just a formality as usual, and everyone ate a meal of meat and it was over, and everything was the same. As for Senior Brother Xinghe's words, who really took it to heart? But they found out that they were wrong. Very wrong. Senior Brother Xinghe didn't just talk, he really did it. Do what others dare not do, and do what others dare not do. Why did everyone become a minor disciple of Haotian sect? Is it because you like mining? No, because who doesn't have a dream of becoming a god against the sky? What's wrong with poor qualifications? What's wrong with poor talent? Don't you have the qualifications to pursue your dreams? I don't know how many people have chosen to enter the spirit mine of Haotian sect and become a minor disciple after experiencing countless rejections and ridicules. They also had dreams, and they also dreamed countless times that one day they would have a sword in their hands and reach the sky. But reality gave them a heavy blow. As minor disciples, they got nothing except the most basic skills and resources to sustain their mining. But why do they still insist? Because they still have dreams. But slowly, they found that maybe it can only be a dream. Today, Senior Brother Xinghe stood up and told each of them that from today on, you have the qualifications to pursue your dreams again. The resource treatment is second only to that of outer disciples, and what is even more incredible is that Senior Brother Xinghe gave them more advanced skills. From today on, you can get resources by mining here. As long as you work hard enough and as long as you meet the relative requirements, you can learn more advanced skills of Haotian sect. If your performance is good enough, you can even become an outer disciple of Haotian sect, or even an inner disciple. Become the future of Haotian sect. Chapter 50, All Parties Are Shocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, all the miners' eyes were moist. What Senior Brother Xinghe gave was not the skills and resources, but the qualification for everyone to pursue their dreams. Hula la la. I don't know how many miners around me knelt on the ground spontaneously. For a moment, all of them kowtowed frantically to the notice behind Mao Yang, Wan Lin and all the disciples of Haotian sect were shocked. They are all the pride of heaven. They have lived in the praise of others since birth. After entering Haotian sect, they are also the best of the best. They are the pride of the family and the pride of the sect. They have never thought that there are so many people pursuing their dreams in this world. In fact, when Qin Xiangqian stopped Chu Xinghe and said that giving so many resources might cause losses to the sect, Wan Lin also hesitated. Should I persuade Senior Brother Xinghe? But at this moment, Wan Lin knew that he was narrow-minded, his realm was low. The gap between him and Senior Brother Xinghe not only did not narrow, but it was getting bigger and bigger. What did he see? The number of spirit stones in the sect will decrease, and the sect will suffer losses, but what Brother Xinghe sees is countless dreams and the future of the sect. You can say that these miners have poor talents, but you can't kill their dreams, and you can't say that they can only be a waste in this life. The first generation of Haotian Emperor of Haotian Sect did not have any unparalleled talents, but he relied on hard work to create Haotian Sect. Who can say that there will not be the next Haotian Emperor or the next martial emperor among these miners? Losing half of the spirit stones sounds terrible, but what is the foundation of Haotian Sect? Haotian Sect can't afford the loss of these spirit stones. Isn't it worth using these spirit stones to exchange for a chance for everyone to pursue their dreams? Brother Xinghe's realm has really reached a height that everyone looks up to. Ma Liang was also extremely shocked. He swore that from this moment on, his dream had changed. His dream used to be to become a person like Brother Xinghe, but today he realized that he was wrong, very wrong. Become a person like Brother Xinghe? I am not worthy of it. As long as I can become a follower of Senior Brother Xinghe, it will be a great honor for my family. The other junior brothers and sisters now understand why Senior Brother Xinghe brought them along this time. It turns out that he wants to teach me a lesson. Thinking of their misbehavior in the sect before, and even bullying other junior brothers and sisters, they all blushed. Shame. Too shameful. Facing their misbehavior, Senior Brother Xinghe did not punish them or scold them, but said nothing, but told them with such a shocking thing, look, I am still at the level of bullying junior brothers and sisters, while Senior Brother Xinghe has reached the point where even a minor disciple is treated as a relative by Senior Brother Xinghe. Everyone silently swore in their hearts that they must follow Senior Brother Xinghe in this life. Even if they cannot become a person like Senior Brother Xinghe, they must follow him to death. The spirit mine of Haotian Sect has been around for who knows how many years, but today it is full of laughter and joy. Those miners who were like zombies before roared to the sky. I have finally waited. I have finally waited for the qualification to pursue my dream and the opportunity to change my fate. Wang Tiniu looked at every word on the notice stupidly. There were still 5 bloody finger marks on his face when he gave himself a big bag just now because he suspected that he was dreaming. He thought of what Brother Xinghe said when he first came here. From today on, if anyone dares to withhold their resources, even the King of Heaven can't save him. Wang Tiniu once thought that this was just a polite remark, although everyone said that Tiniu was stupid and said that Tiniu was unlucky, even many people stayed away from him. But Brother Xinghe didn't. Brother Xinghe's smile like spring breeze made Wang Tiniu think for the first time that there are such good people in the world. Since Senior Brother Xinghe came yesterday, many people have been discussing in private, saying that Chu Xinghe is a hypocritical person. His words are beautiful, but they are just words, so don't take them to heart. I don't know how many people have slandered Senior Brother Xinghe in private. Wang Tiniu himself even thinks that what others said is right, but at this time. Wang Tiniu gave himself a big bag again. This is not a test to see if he is dreaming, this is Wang Tiniu's regret. Wang Tiniu, am not a human being. I actually slandered Senior Brother Xinghe so much. I am not a human being at all. Wang Tiniu is crying like rain. From today on, he must be a person with dreams, a useful person in the eyes of Senior Brother Xinghe, and strive to become a person like Senior Brother Xinghe. The Haotian Sect spirit mine was shaken, and all the miners and disciples were reborn from the ashes. But when the news came from the Haotian Sect spirit mine, the shock of all parties was far beyond the spirit mine. What the hell? 30% of the output is used as resources for the miners. For more advanced skills. How many days can we rest every month? Haotian Sect is crazy. Who the hell is Chu Xinghe? Didn't Haotian Sect punish him for buying Tiany's spirit mine? If our sect's disciples were so reckless and bought Tiany's spirit mine, the grass on their graves would be half a meter high by now. Is this guy really not afraid of death? It's fine to buy Tiany's spiritual mine, but he dares to mess with the minor disciples so much? This guy can't be Gu Mingchao's illegitimate son, right? Even if Gu Mingchao's illegitimate son dares to do this, Gu Mingchao will have to torture him to death. Haotian Sect is the #1 sect in the world, how dare they do this? All parties were shocked when they heard the news, but it was not only these people who were shocked, but also the minor disciples of all parties. when the news reached the spiritual minds of all parties, everyone was stunned when they heard the treatment that Chu Xinghe had set for the minor disciples of Haotian sect. Before, they were all at the bottom. So don't laugh at the second brother, but now the minor disciples of Haotian sect are not the big brothers. This is the treatment of the uncle, okay? Many inner disciples of many sects are like this, right? Although the minor disciples are a little bit miserable, they have poor talents to begin with, and it doesn't matter if they are a little bit miserable and tired. Now hope is in front of them, that's the real thing. So in a short time, all the minors from all the major sects quit. Why should we be treated like this when Haotian sect treats us like that? We also want the same treatment from Haotian sect. If they don't give us, we will quit, we will not be here anymore, we will go to Haotian sect to be minors. Such a huge change was naturally expected by all parties, so a message spread quickly. Chu Xinghe has been doing evil, Haotian sect has known about it, and has sent people to punish him. It is estimated that he will be killed on the spot. Haotian sect will soon return to the way it was before. As soon as the news came out, all parties temporarily quieted down, and everyone was waiting for the elders of Haotian sect to come and kill Chu Xinghe. Haotian sect, in Haotian Hall, the news of Lingmai Mountain did not need the spirit birds of Haotian sect this time, and other sects had already helped to deliver it. At this moment, in the hall, the sect master and the heads of each palace were all sitting together. The elder was upset when he heard the news. It was painful. His hair fell out in bunches. Xinghe, Xinghe. Are you going to poke a hole in the sky? The news that Tianyi spirit mine was bought has made Haotian sect a joke, and now everyone in the world is waiting to see Haotian sect laugh, but we haven't finished laughing here, and you actually made such a big fuss. What are you all standing there for? Talk about it. The sect leader spoke first. Sect leader, now all the sects have reacted strongly, demanding severe punishment for Xinghe, and even several sects have temporarily suspended their cooperation with Haotian sect. Not only these sects, but the Shi family has also expressed their position. If Chu Xinghe of Haotian sect behaves so recklessly and is not punished, the Shi family will no longer cooperate with Haotian sect. Not only that, I just calculated that if Xinghe really does what he does, the sect will lose at least more than half of the spiritual stone supply every year. Although the remaining half can barely support it, but... The elders spoke one after another, and told the news from all sides. Sect leader, I will go there in person. I will find a way to deal with this matter. The great elder stood up. Sit down, sit down. The sect leader waved his hand at the elder to signal him to sit down, but this time the elder did not sit down. Sect leader. Xinghe, this kid, this time he really went too far. I'm afraid that the other sects will take action one after another. I'm afraid this kid will have difficulty dealing with it. All the elders nodded at the elder's words. Chu Xinghe's series of actions were equivalent to directly overturning the table, and it was not the table of the Haotian sect that was overturned, but the table of everyone. The Haotian sect can withstand the loss of half of its spirit stones, but some people can't. In this way, the various sects will definitely take action for these spirit stones, curb Chu Xinghe, and force the Haotian sect to return to its original state, so there must be a series of combined punches later. The elder was worried that Chu Xinghe would not be able to handle it. How to punish Chu Xinghe is a matter for the Haotian sect behind closed doors, but the actions of the various sects are not so easy to deal with. So the great elder felt that he had to rush over now. It was not impossible to suppress this matter with his own means at that time. Everyone looked at the sect master. If the great elder rushes over now, he can suppress this matter, but have you ever thought about where Xinghe's face should be placed if so? As soon as the sect master said this, all the elders changed color. The sect master began to consider Xinghe's face. Or in the sect master's heart. Chu Xinghe has been placed in that position for a long time. Even under his mysterious operation, the sect master never wavered. I still say that Xinghe grew up under our care. If others do wrong, I believe it, but Xinghe's original intention to do this must be out of benevolence and righteousness. Xinghe couldn't stand the treatment of the minors, but he was different from us. We knew it, but chose to endure it, but he didn't. He did what we dared not do. As the sect master said this, everyone was silent. Everyone knows how minors are treated, but who has really stood up and said something for them? And today, Chu Xinghe dared to do something that was against the will of the world. Don't just look at the bad side of this matter, look at the good side. Xinghe is a kind and righteous kid. Everything he does will surely win the hearts of minors and even all the kind and righteous people in the world. From this point of view, this kid did nothing wrong. This time, even the great elder was shocked. If ordinary people do something like buying people's hearts, it is absolutely treasonous. After all, the sect master is still here. You buy people's hearts, what? Do you want to seize power and usurp the throne? Are you more righteous than the sect master? But Chu Xinghe bought people's hearts, and the sect master was not angry at all, but very happy. This is outrageous.